Hey, what's up, everybody? I want to welcome you to another episode of the Dreamers Pro Daily Recap, where we give you a recap of all of the hot topics that we covered that day. You can catch them in their long format and also catch it fully streaming for free on Apple Podcasts. This is a hilarious show, and you guys are going to see why I'm saying it's hilarious the further we get into this topic. So, as you guys know, there was a pretty big game for the Los Angeles Lakers yesterday, where they played against the Oklahoma City Thunder. And going into that game, obviously the Oklahoma City Thunder were the best team in the Western Conference. The Lakers were kind of oscillating up and down the standings, trying to figure out where they were going to stand in the Western Conference. So going into that game, I think most of us thought that the Oklahoma City Thunder were going to win the game. But obviously there was some scheduling stuff and all of that. But anyway, as I was watching the game, because I did watch it, the Lakers were on a historic tear, at least for their franchise. They were hitting every single thing from the three-point line. The Lakers ended up hitting 15 threes in the first half, which I believe was a franchise record or tying their franchise record. They hit 15 threes. That's like them hitting over an average of 7 threes a quarter. 7. And they ended up scoring 78 points in the first half, going 68% from the three-point line. In the first half alone, Austin Reeves had 3 threes. Luka Doncic had 5 in the first half. 5. LeBron had 1. All of these guys. And it was something that ended up creating such a deficit that ultimately the Oklahoma City Thunder could not overcome the deficit. They ended up hitting an additional 7 threes in the second half, finishing the game with 22 three-pointers made to the Oklahoma City Thunder, hitting 12, and ultimately the Lakers ended up getting a very impressive win, 126-99. Now, I think it's also important that we say the Lakers are going to be facing these guys again the next time they play, right? So they won the game. And I know that a lot of Laker fans were excited, and justifiably so. You just beat the best team in the Western Conference. That's a very, very big win. And if I'm not mistaken, one of the other teams that they beat was the Houston Rockets. I could be mistaken, but I do believe that the Lakers beat the Houston Rockets recently. Yes, they did. 104-98. That was another stunner. So after that win, the Lakers were now the number 3 seed in the Western Conference. Fantastic. So what I've noticed is that Nightcap, every time the Lakers win or lose a game, they usually go live to cover it. And on this particular episode, they had a special guest on there in Kenyon Martin. Now, if you know anything about Kenyon Martin from watching him from Gil's Arena, you know that he's not a fan of the Lakers, right? He's not a fan of the Lakers and all of that. So, and he made it clear he feels like there are other teams that are going to be better than them in the Western Conference playoffs. So what happened? As you guys know, there's something that usually happens when the Lakers win. There tends to be this kind of excitement that sweeps across sports media. And it starts in the first thing in the morning. Starts with Get Up, then it trickles its way all the way up to ESPN First Take. And then from there, it goes all the way up to like shows like Speak for Yourself. It's just like, and in the facility, there's this general excitement. Hey, man, this is impressive. What do you think about this impressive thing? This is impressive. So what do you think now? What do you think now? And it's this bubbliness in everybody in sports media because the Lakers won a very important game. So Shannon Sharpe, being part of the media and being part of the group of people that do that, tried to bring that same level of enthusiasm over to Kenyon Martin. And Kenyon Martin, being the typical Kenyon Martin that he is, as Shannon Sharpe was up there twerking it up, Kenyon Martin absolutely shut him down to his face on his show for him trying to overhype the Lakers beating the Oklahoma City Thunder. For those of you who didn't hear this exchange, I want to play it for you now. And then when I come back and continue on the show, take a listen to Kenyon Martin talking to Shannon Sharpe here.
They did a great job. I think the best thing they did today, Kmart, is they kept Shea ass off the free throw line. And if you can do that, because you know he's going to normally get to the free throw line about 10, 15 times a game. But I thought they dominated this game. What did you like about what you saw from the Lakers today?
They just used the experience, man. Young team early, on this early Sunday. Caught them young boys, man. Some of them boys went out last night, man. They didn't know the importance of the game. They already got the West under their belt, so they like, hey, man, we can afford this one, man. No, the Lakers did what they had to do. They came in and they put belt to them, you know what I'm saying? Like they should have. They need this win. They fighting for something. Oklahoma City already, they already locked in, man. So I think it meant more to the Lakers to come in and play this way than it did for Oklahoma City.
Are you surprised at the margin of victory that the Lakers? Okay, Lakers might have won. You said all that things being true. Okay, OKC probably not taking the game as serious as they normally would. That is an early game for them. They don't play very many games. What time is that? That'll be probably 2:30 that time. So they don't play very many games like that. They either play 4:30 or they play the late games being on the West Coast. But are you surprised by how well the Lakers played, considering? This might be at some point in time, this might be a matchup in the playoffs.
Listen, man, I ain't riding with your Lakers like you are, dog. I know what you're trying to do, man. Listen, dog. If you don't watch the show daily, man, with me, man, I've been looking at the comments, man. Lakers in 5, all that. Hey, I ain't listen, man. Right now, they're gonna have to prove it to me, but we'll see.
You said they young, Kmart. You said they young.
OKC, yeah. I wouldn't listen. I would not want to play the Lakers in the first round if I was any team in the West. You know what I'm saying? Just because of the simple fact they have 2 game changers in Bron and Luka. Not taking anything off them guys' plate, but I want to see who they match up with in that first round. That's key to me. If they mess around and them Nuggets slide to 4 or 5 and y'all in 4 or 5, it ain't looking too good, man. So
it could be anybody. It could be the Nuggets. It could be Golden State, or it could be the Clippers. Because the Clippers have looked really good as of late. So it could be any one of those: the Nuggets, the Warriors, or the Clippers. So who do you think is the best matchup? Who do you think the Lakers least want to face, and who do you think says, "Okay, this is a nice matchup for us"?
I think they would want to face the Clippers.
Yeah,
I would stay away from Denver by all costs if I was them. I really would stay away from them. It's been proven when it's time on the line, they can't beat them. Right. So I would stay away from them. No matter who y'all had, Anthony Davis, who was a hell of a defender, he couldn't do with Nikola. So I would stay away from the Denver Nuggets at all costs.
So Kmart, even though the Lakers have been hot lately, they got the momentum. Going to the play-in, going into the playoffs, whatever it may be, just so happen, hypothetically speaking, they do get the Nuggets. So you think the Lakers don't stand a chance at all if they have Denver in the first round? Ain't no chance at all.
Me and Gil been going back and forth about this for weeks now, since the Luka trade. We've been going back and forth about this specific topic, and I'm not rolling. He's Luka the equalizer to Nicole. No, he's not.
Right.
Like, I don't care what. There's no equalizer to Nikola in the National Basketball Association. Right. I don't care what y'all out there doing.
This is where I disagree with you. I believe they can let Luka let Nikola. Nikola right now has 30, 37, 13, and 11, and they're down 10. So you can give him the problem that the Lakers were having. Yoke was getting his, but they were letting Murray get 30. They were letting Michael Porter Jr. get 25. That is where you run into the problem. Nikola, it doesn't matter. You can have Anthony Davis, you can have Joel Embiid, whoever you feel is a defensive center. Obviously, those guys are great two-way players. You can give him his 40, 15, and 15. But what you can't allow are the others. And that's what beat the Lakers. You look at Jamal Murray numbers against the Lakers. He's an all-star. He's an all-NBA player when he plays the Lakers, Kmart.
Yeah, absolutely. So y'all should want to stay away from him at all costs because he's still there. I don't know if you know, he still played for the Nuggets, and Michael Porter still played for the Nuggets, and Aaron Gordon still played for the Nuggets. So
and all Aaron Gordon only plays good against the Nuggets. But this is what we got now.
So you heard what Kenyon Martin had to say. What are my thoughts about this? I think Shannon thought that Kenyon Martin was ready to lather up and rub honey all over his belly. And Kenyon wasn't going for it. Now, the funniest part about it is we couldn't show you the clip because we don't own that content, obviously. But was the visual of it. As Shannon was talking, you could see Kenyon Martin getting like visibly kind of like annoyed. Like, okay, bro, I know you're about to be up here twerking it up. Like, bro, I'm not interested in all of that. Hence the reason he said to him, he's like, I don't know if you watch Gil's Arena at any point in time, but I don't be doing that twerking that they be doing. Right? Now, I don't know if Shannon knew that or not, but Kenyon Martin made it clear. Now, what are my thoughts about his reaction overall? Look, there are people out there that have different views about this thing, okay? Give you guys an example. Look at Marcus Morris Sr. Marcus Morris Sr. was just recently on ESPN First Take. His views were quite different than a lot of the things a lot of people have said. Marcus Morris Sr. said that he has more faith in the Lakers and the Clippers over the Oklahoma City Thunder. You listen to people like Charles Barkley, he'll tell you nobody's going to beat OKC and Cleveland and Boston and these guys. You listen to the next guy, they're going to tell you something different. So everybody has their own view on how things are going to ultimately play out. I think, however, what probably Shannon was expecting was, given the euphoria of that impressive win, he probably thought that Kenyon Martin was going to kind of ride the wave like most people normally do and then start being hyperbolic and start saying, oh, they're going to win the championship for the next 10 years. And Kenyon Martin just wasn't going to do that. Now, Kenyon Martin does believe in the Denver Nuggets. I don't believe in the Denver Nuggets. He believes that they're going to be a nightmare matchup for the Lakers. Historically, yes. But this Denver Nuggets has been grossly inconsistent. Right now, they're the number 4 seed in the Western Conference. They have lost 4 games in a row. 4 games in a row. Is that how you want to end the season? On a losing streak or playing terrible basketball? Most teams in the Western Conference are playing great ball right now, not the Nuggets. They're 3-7 out of their last 10. The OKC is 8-2. The Rockets are 8-2. The Lakers are 5-5, but they're picking it up. The Clippers are 8-2. The Warriors are 7-3. The Timberwolves are 7-3. So most of these teams are playing great ball. The Nuggets aren't. And I'm not so sure the Nuggets can beat the Lakers if they were to play them. Now, obviously, Nikola Jokic is the ultimate equalizer, but the Nuggets have just not been able to show that they have what it takes to beat the Lakers right now. I'm sorry. Now, can they beat them? Obviously. But I wouldn't be going into that series picking the Nuggets just outright like that. I wouldn't do it. I'm sorry. I wouldn't do that. The Nuggets are not showing me that right now. They're showing me a lot of inconsistency. But this is my view. This is just my opinion. Obviously, Kenyon Martin has his own. For example, he said the Lakers should want to face the Clippers. Some people may feel like they shouldn't want to play the Clippers. I don't know. If the Lakers played against the Clippers in the playoffs, I think there's a possibility that the Lakers could beat the Clippers. Yes, is that wide open? The Clippers, yeah, they've been playing great ball, fantastic, and they need to win every single game to close out this season. But that doesn't mean that, they can be beaten. That doesn't mean that. But what I loved was the fact that Kenyon Martin just was not interested in torquing it up. He had absolutely zero interest in it, and I thought that was fantastic. Now, this is going to be a very interesting one because I am super interested in the NBA standings in the Western Conference. I mean, it is changing day by day, and I think is one of the most interesting things that we got going on right now to close out the NBA season with the play-in tournament picture. So this is things that I want to get into. So right now, let's just take a look at the Western Conference quickly. Okay, as things currently stand, the Thunder the number 1 seed. Rockets are the number 2 seed. Lakers are number 3. Nuggets 4. Clippers 5. Warriors 6. The Timberwolves 7. Grizzlies 8. Kings 9. Mavericks 10. Now, I want to tell you guys the number of losses that separate the Lakers in the 3 seed to the 8 seed. From the 3 to the 8 seed, they're separated by 2 losses. 2 losses. Now, here's what else is that's interesting about that. From the 4 to the 8th seed, they all have an identical record. The Grizzlies are 46-32. The Timberwolves are 46-32. The Warriors are 46-32. The Clippers are 46-32. And the Nuggets are 47-32. Now, here's what's interesting. Going into yesterday's games, the Clippers were actually the 7th seed. Right now, the Clippers have the season series over the Grizzlies. They have the season series over the Warriors. The Wolves have the season series over the Clippers. Right. So what happened? Going into yesterday's games, I was actually watching that Houston Rockets Warriors game, and let me tell you, it was a very, very entertaining game. But boy, was I rooting against the Warriors, man. I was rooting for the Rockets to beat the Warriors because I'm like, they got to beat the Warriors because the Warriors at that point were on a 5-game winning streak. The Clippers on a 4-game winning streak. And the Clippers needed the Warriors to lose one of those games. They needed them. So after the Warriors lost that game, the Clippers went from the 7th seed all the way to the 5th seed. Now the Warriors are the 6th seed, right? The positions were literally, it's like musical chairs because the Warriors were the 5th seed going into that game. So the Clippers end up winning that game, right? They end up winning that game. And then I'm sitting there saying to myself, well, wait a minute. They won this game, but what does the schedule look like going forward? And given the fact that the Clippers have a very good shot at winning some of these games going forward, I'm now looking at the playoff brackets and standings, and I'm like, hold up. Could there be a possibility that the Lakers and Clippers can actually face off in one of these rounds in the playoffs? Well, that's what I'm going to show you guys right now. Let's get into that. Okay, so first of all, let's look at the standings. If the playoffs were to start today, it would be the Grizzlies versus the Thunder, round 1. It would be the 2-seed Rockets versus the 7-seed Wolves. Then it would be the 3-seed Lakers versus the 6-seed Warriors. Then it would be the Nuggets Clippers, right? But if the Lakers were to drop a game or drop down to the 4th seed and the Clippers were to maintain the 5th seed, they're going to face each other in round 1. Now, if you look at the Lakers schedule moving forward, I want to get to the brackets momentarily. They got the Thunder next, which should be interesting. Then they got the Mavs, who I think they'll be. Then they got the Rockets. So there's a chance that the Lakers could go 2-2. If the Lakers go 2-2, they're going to have a 32 losses. And if the Clippers win out, which would be quite tough because the next opponents they have are the Spurs, which I think they'll win. They have the Rockets, which is a tough one. But then they have the Kings, and then they have the Warriors. That Warriors-Clippers matchup for the last game of the season is going to be a very, very interesting one. Now, if we look at the playoff brackets right now, if the first round were to go the way that we're thinking it would go, right now in the first round, you would potentially have the Thunder versus the Grizzlies in round 1. You would have the Nuggets versus the Clippers in round 2. So the Clippers would be in the bracket of the Thunder. But if things were to move just a little bit, the Clippers can be in the other bracket where they could face the Lakers in round 1. Or if the Lakers go to the number 2 seed, the Lakers could potentially see the Clippers in round 2. But the likelihood of the Lakers seeing the Clippers in round 1 is pretty real. And if we were to see that, it would mean that we would be getting another rematch of Kawhi Leonard and LeBron James. Now, Kawhi and LeBron have only faced each other in the finals. They never faced each other in the playoffs, so to speak, because they always played in separate conferences. And funny enough, do you know that the Lakers and Clippers have never played each other in the playoffs? Can you imagine a first-round matchup between the Lakers and the Clippers? To me, I think that would absolutely be box office. It would be super duper fun, and I would be super duper interested in it. Now, if the Lakers were to play the Rockets and the Clippers in the first round, who do I think will win? Well, first of all, let's look at the team stats for a second. Okay, the Lakers are obviously improved under JJ Redick, and I'm gonna give him his credit, although I don't want to. JJ Redick got this team playing better this year. So let's look at the Lakers. Some of the key data points. They're number 19th in offense out of the 30 teams, but they're number 11 in opponents off points allowed. Offensive rating, they're 11th. Defensively, they're 14th. So they're kind of a middle of the pack team, but obviously things could change in the playoffs. If you look at the Clippers, however, this has been the best defensive team that the Clippers have had since Kawhi Leonard has been there. Right now, offensively, they're 17th. So the Lakers are a slightly better offensive team. But the Clippers are the 4th best defense in the NBA. The 4th best. They're top 5 defense, which means that in a playoff series, the Clippers could potentially lean on their defensive prowess. But wait, let's say this. You're looking at the average of all the teams in the NBA. Just because they're the 4th rated defense in terms of all the teams that they play, that doesn't mean that they're going to be able to shut down the Lakers. And I think that the Lakers will be able to give them a lot of problems, specifically with the Luka Doncic matchup, not the LeBron one. It's the Luka Doncic one, right? I think you could put Kawhi on LeBron for a series consistently. The problem you're going to have is Luka. And because of the philosophy of Ty Lue is notorious for switching every single thing. And Ty Lue is going to want to have Ivica Zubac on the floor, right? Because he's a presence in the paint with his rebounding, his ability to roll hard to the basket. He creates a threat with James Harden. Not so much of a lob threat, but he can at times. And him and James Harden have a very good two-man game that they play. So Ty Lue's going to want to have him on the floor, right? His ability to get rebounds, crowd the paint, etc. And the Lakers are just going to pick and roll Ivica Zubac into eternity. And that's how Luka usually has a lot of success against Ty Lue teams. Now, it's important to say this. Ty Lue has beaten Luka Doncic in the playoffs once, although the Clippers have beaten him twice. I think Doc Rivers was the first time they beat them. So they've shown the ability to beat them, although they beat them last year, but Kawhi Leonard wasn't healthy, so I don't know if we're going to really count that as a series. So the Clippers have shown that they could beat them, but this is a different Lakers team. And they have a different coach. And you have to also bear in mind that they have a new threat in Austin Reeves, who is a legitimate bona fide third option. So going into a playoff series, I think it would be a toss-up. I would put my money on the Clippers to win, but I wouldn't be like, oh man, the Clippers are going to win. It's not like before the Clippers are the past and the Lakers. No. I think the Lakers would have a legitimate shot to beat the Clippers in a first round playoff series. I think they can. And I think they can beat them in 6. Now, granted, the Clippers are playing fantastic basketball right now. They're clicking well. They're firing on all cylinders. Kawhi Leonard looks exceptional, but that doesn't mean that they can't be beaten, right? I don't have that supreme confidence in the Clippers like that, like the way I used to before. And the Lakers are a real threat. Let's get into this one here. So this one is something that I didn't see coming. Now, as you guys know, Stephen A. Smith made a lot of headlines over the last 2 to 3 weeks with the back and forth that he had with LeBron James, literally. First, they had the in-person altercation, and then LeBron went on Pat McAfee, then Stephen A. Smith went on Gil's Arena, then LeBron went on Pat McAfee, and it was back and forth. It was oscillating, and everybody kind of chimed in on it. Other people weighed in, Charles Barkley, everybody talked about it, right? But while all of this was going on, I guess no one was really paying attention to what was taking place behind the scenes at ESPN. As you guys know, the day that LeBron confronted Stephen A. Smith, ESPN gave Stephen A. Smith, or agreed to a contract with Stephen A. Smith, a 5-year, $100 million deal. We actually did a show about it, going over some of the stipulations in the contract, which gave him a little bit more creative freedom. He could discuss politics a little bit more, etc. So that was there, and all of that happened. So over the weekend, a report came out that was centered on something that the U.S. Sun published, and I want to read the headline for you. It says, "Take that. Tensions at ESPN rise as Stephen A. Smith's bust up with LeBron James causes issues behind the scenes at First Take." And I was like, okay, this would be a pretty interesting subject to touch on today. So let's get into what this report had to say now. Stephen A. Smith's feud with LeBron James has caused problems behind the scenes at First Take, sources have told the U.S. Sun. The outspoken ESPN pundit recently criticized the NBA legend LeBron, only to issue a quick apology. The article then continues on. LeBron James confronted Stephen A. Smith about the ESPN star's criticism of his son, rookie player Bronny, during a Los Angeles Lakers game. The U.S. Sun has learned that people working behind the scenes at First Take have taken issue with Smith's latest shenanigans, only adding to their previous frustrations with the fiery personality. Smith had falsely claimed that LeBron missed Kobe Bryant's memorial service, as well as former Miami Heat teammates Dwayne Wade's Hall of Fame induction. The incident has added fuel to the fire of an ongoing conflict that began when the Lakers star pushed back at Stephen A. Smith for his harsh criticism of Bronny James. The two had a heated exchange courtside during a Lakers game last month, but the fallout has left several First Take employees deeply frustrated. The U.S. Sun has previously reported widespread resentment among the show's production staff towards Smith, who reportedly signed a lucrative $100 million contract, making him one of the highest paid pundits on the network. The public spat with LeBron, however, has worsened tensions even further. One journalist on the show described the situation as very, very bad, claiming clashes are happening all the time. "We're all fed up with his constant S show," said the staffer. "He seems to enjoy it, but everybody else doesn't. All the clashing and feuding makes us look ridiculous. The article then continues on. It fuels his ego, though he's happy with the spotlight on him every single day. But this situation is getting really bad. It's creating prejudice. There's also growing concerns, according to the insider, that Smith could provoke other players and spark yet another controversy. If he falls out with someone else, it's going to make our jobs much harder, they added. The toxic ego of one journalist who is spiraling out of control and seems to thrive on conflict regardless of the consequences is very damaging for a team that has to work with him and around him. I don't think he's aware of that, or if he is, he simply doesn't care. We think he doesn't give a damn about the impact of his coworkers. The sources further claim that ESPN bosses who have seen ratings soar as a result of the Bronny James feud are content to let their highest paid pundit continue unchecked despite the strain it's putting on its show's staff. Who's telling him to slow down, they ask. Another member of the production crew shared their frustrations with the situation, claiming that Smith has become increasingly difficult to work with. Right now, people working on that show can't stand him, said the second source. It feels like he thrives off instability to maintain control over the team and keep himself at the center of attention 24/7. It's so frustrating. He makes so much money and brings in so many viewers that the board doesn't intervene. Other colleagues and pundits have been trying to calm the situation with LeBron, but Stephen A doesn't care. He'll keep going as long as he wants. I've been getting messages from agents and players saying they don't want to appear on the show or even share information with us anymore because of Smith. Staff are increasingly worried that the feud with LeBron will escalate further, which, according to the insider, will only inflate Smith's ego. The sources claim the pundit has been bragging about the public dispute with one of the world's biggest sports stars, with some staff likening his behavior to a child who won't stop until his parents tell him to. It's a very serious issue, and we genuinely don't know how it will play out. He keeps talking Ash and provoking James by saying whatever comes to his mind, said the First Take production worker. It's a dangerous game and really pathetic too. The outspoken Charles Barkley, okay, and then the article then goes on to say a few other things there. So these staff members had a lot to say. All right, they had a lot to say. What are my thoughts on this? Okay, just going through what they said. They said some things that I understand in terms of Stephen A. Smith thriving off of the drama. I think he does. I think Stephen A. Smith, enjoys to get dissed, because it gives him an opportunity to go out there and respond to it. Stephen A. Smith responds to anybody that is noteworthy. Anybody. If you diss him in any kind of way, he's either going to respond on the Stephen A. Smith show, or he's going to respond on ESPN First Take, and it does well for his views and his ratings. The article also said that executives at ESPN also love this back and forth because it's generating ratings. Of course they do. And I'll give you a reason why I think they love this. We did a show just this weekend reacting to some comments that Jay Williams had to make about Stephen A. Smith's anonymous NBA player that commented on Stephen Curry saying that he would average 17 points a game. Jay Williams went to Twitter to basically call out Stephen A. Smith and say, listen, if you're going to list anonymous sources, list them. So, and I said to myself, wait a minute. If I have a disagreement with a particular person that I know personally, I'm not going to go on Twitter and tweet about it. I'm going to message the person directly, right? Why would I post it on Twitter when I could just message the guy directly? Number one. Number two, some people said, okay, what if he did message him privately? Okay, fine. Let's say he did message him privately. Then why would you post on Twitter? And then I said to myself that at a certain extent, I said, these guys do this to generate ratings. Jay Williams goes to Stephen A. Smith. Stephen A. Smith hears it, and then he'll probably react on TV or call him on the show, react on the Stephen A. Smith show. And it seems to be a formula that they use by just using drama and disagreements to then create more controversy, and which ultimately leads to more ratings, which ultimately leads to more dollars. So I've noticed this pattern about what they do over there at ESPN. I think they thrive on it. In terms of what these guys are saying, what they're saying may have some validity to it, but guess what? Look, the fact of the matter is Stephen A. Smith is a $100 million man. Good luck replacing him. I mean, I like him. The bosses do. All right? The bosses do. And it's not a situation where they're going to replace him, number one. Number two, the article already said that it's something that's making him a lot of money. So why would they stop it? Right? Listen, we're in the Wild Wild West right now, right? Everybody's trying to make a buck. So is these big boys, right? So is these big boys. Everybody's trying to make a buck in one way or the other. In one way or the other, and there's always going to be somebody that disagrees with the way you make your money, right? So although it's surprising that these guys are going as far as they're going, I don't think it's going to jeopardize any particular thing in terms of Stephen A. Smith's position at the network. It ain't going to happen. Stephen A. Smith is a cash cow for ESPN, and they not letting him go over no damn LeBron James feud. If they would have, they would have probably stopped him by now.